marketplace.org.
Even banks think they live in a world of too much stress.
Marketplace Morning Report is supported by Rubrik, dedicated to giving businesses the power to bounce back fast when cyber attacks target the cloud. More at Rubrik.com. And by Schwab, helping people invest in ideas they believe in with Schwab investing themes, with more than 40 themes to choose from. More at Schwab.com.
I'm David Brancaccio. The Fed guides interest rates, and it's one of several regulators of banks, and the industry is now suing over the way the Fed does its annual stress tests, which are designed to measure banks' resilience in case of a bad financial shock. Here's Marketplace's Nova Safo.
Bank stress tests ensure they have enough cash on hand to pay out depositors in case of financial trouble. But the industry has long complained that the Fed is forcing them to set aside too much in reserves. Banks also say the tests are carried out in an opaque fashion, with the results volatile from one year to the next. In their lawsuit, they want the Fed to open up its process, to publicly reveal the models it uses, and to take feedback from the industry itself. In an apparent effort to head off the lawsuit, the Fed said it would seek public comment on changes to improve transparency, but banking groups decided to file their lawsuit anyway. Earlier this year, the Fed subjected 31 big banks to its annual tests. After passing, banks hiked dividend payouts to shareholders, and JP Morgan Chase instituted $30 billion in share buybacks. I'm Nova Safo for Marketplace.
Yellow Pages plus help equals Yelp, a review site that has turned 20. McCarty Carino from our Marketplace Tech program has more.
The site has now accrued almost 300 million reviews worldwide, and it's helped usher in our current star-saturated era, says David Goddess, a marketing and economics professor at Johns Hopkins.
Almost all of us, almost always, check reviews when we're making a purchase.
More than 90% of consumers do, according to a recent survey from Capital One. But as online reviews have taken on greater weight, there's been a greater incentive to game them.
I guess you could think of it in sort of as white hat and black hat.
The white hat ethical version would be encouraging consumers who seem satisfied to write reviews or giving them some sort of incentive to do so. The black hat, more sinister version,
online networks of reviewers who get paid to write fake reviews. This has been documented using AI to generate fake reviews, for example. Lots of that going on.
More online from Marketplace Tech. Now, MasterCard tracks spending in physical stores, online, anywhere, and there's news that compared to last year, holiday spending was up 3.8% November through Christmas Eve. And that's up, but not spectacularly, given that consumer prices were up 2.7% in the year through November, factoring in inflation. London's stock market is closed for Boxing Day. Canada and Hong Kong as well. Here in the U.S., we're at work. S&P futures are down 0.4%. A milestone for car production in China, with a calculation that this coming year electric vehicle production will zoom past internal combustion engine only powered vehicles. The Financial Times analysis does include pure EVs and plug-in hybrids, which grew about 20% in a year.
Marketplace Morning Report is supported by C3 Generative AI. Verified, traceable answers, secure, hallucination-free, LLM-agnostic, IP liability-free. C3.ai. This is Enterprise AI. And by The Economist, devoted to providing independent journalism that makes sense of the news shaping the world. More at economist.com or with The Economist app, newsletters, and podcasts.
Now to a lesson in behavioral economics, drawing from sports. Soccer, football, elsewhere, teaches that our economic decisions are not always rational. My colleague Sabri Benashur and our senior economics contributor Chris Farrell toss this around.
So teams inspire their fans. Their fans are very, very passionate. What does that have to do with investing or economic decision making?
Okay, so we've seen the last few decades the rise in behavioral finance studies, and the field explores how emotions, biases, and cognitive limitations influence economic decision making, including investing. And the results diverge from the classic economic model of the rational actor, coolly evaluating risks and rewards to maximize returns. Instead, look, our judgments are often clouded by emotion and bias in systematic and predictable ways.
Soccer fans are definitely emotional.
Well, from the studies I've looked at, and okay, it's a far from comprehensive review, I get the sense that scholars who draw economic lessons from the beautiful game, they're also fans. And that's certainly the case with an intriguing study by several economists into English Premier League matches and fans. They ran a series of experiments on fans who placed nearly 40,000 bets on league matches during the 2020-2021 season.
The Premier League is the highest level of the professional English football league. What did they find with these experiments?
Okay, so the participants, 800 from Kenya and 1,600 from the United Kingdom, were given a budget and asked to make wagers on upcoming games. And the economists were exploring how much team identity or fandom impacted investing decisions. And most participants were followers of a particular team, and their bets skewed heavily toward that team, even when the odds were against them winning. So they identified with the team they followed and favored.
So it sounds like the fans' passion, their identity, is influencing decisions about money.
That's right. And this study is in addition to a lot of other similar studies that report on the role identity and social belief play in managing money and making financial decisions. And the scholars called the money impact of emotional attachment and preferences an identity tax. Kind of an intriguing term. And they argue you can't understand economic decision making without recognizing the role of identity.
So do these results have broader lessons for how to understand behavior around money and finances outside the soccer field?
So they argue this identity tax idea, the importance of identity. It helps explains why people prefer investing in domestic stocks, even when foreign stocks offer better value, or, they invest heavily in their employer stock when diversification is the prudent course of action. So I would say studies like this are trying to understand better how people actually approach finance and money.
Marketplace senior economics contributor Chris Farrell, thank you so much.
Thanks a lot.
All right, Sabrina. And some observed economic behavior. People tend to think bigger is better too often with square footage driving house buying, but also it seems with diamonds. The CEO of the jewelry chain Pandora says Gen Z and millennials are buying synthetic diamonds, lab grown, not because of human rights factors, but usually because you can get big ones cheaper. I'm not sure it has anything to do with rocks that look better on Instagram, TikTok, he said dryly. I'm David Brancaccio, Marketplace Morning Report from APM, American Public Media.